Hi guys, this is a video demonstration of the Test Electronics smallest test fixture, the prober with the RFshield option installed. Now this is an extra big RFshield, extra high from here to here, because this is a double-sided prober. And it also tests two stacked circuit boards, which makes these plates even higher than normal. This is the boards that it tests. Two boards stacked one on top of the other. The unique thing about this is that these boards move a little, so you cannot really tell exactly where they will be. So we have test pins aligning this way and test pins aligning this way to hold this all in precise position. The board goes in like this, and then you close this to test. It's that easy. Now, the important part about a test fixture is the ability to take it apart and maintain it. So what I want to show you first is the pins on the bottom and the test pins on the top down in here. And this is a light sensor which detects an LED that comes on and flashes. Now, the ability to maintain a fixture is the ease in taking it apart, basically. So what I want to do is show you how easy it is to take the RFshield off. That's what we have to do first to access all the wiring in the top side. Now there's just 4 screws that come out, one on each corner in here. These are fairly long screws that go deep into the spacers, and they're stainless steel screws, fairly strong, because there's a little bit of weight on the top here with this RFshield. And these screws need to go deep into the spacers, into the threading to support that weight. Okay, all 4 screws removed. This will come right out like that. Now, this is the RFshield. Inside of it is RF absorption material. This is a carbon material, not carbon fiber, but a carbon composite. It's basically carbon dust mixed in with fiberglass. You don't want carbon fiber because the fibers are conductive and that can cause reflections and induced reflections in the long conductive fibers. Okay, so here is the top pins and the bottom pins again. I'll show you close up. You can see the top pins right here. Now to access these, you basically just unscrew this top plate, these top 4 screws, and this Lexan cover will come off. This is just a cover to protect it against getting banged around. The probes are fairly delicate, but you can still touch them. They're not super delicate. They're right here. And what we'll do is, now the wiring is all wire wrapped and out to the probes, which it's soldered into, because these are 50 mil probes, they're very small. And the wiring goes out, a ribbon cable down into here and then back out here. I'll take this. This is just another guard here, another protective guard to keep from hitting the ribbon cable. But the ribbon cable comes off very easy, just like that. Put it back in. So when this needs replacing, you just replace it with a standard 6-inch ribbon cable, 20 pin for this one. Now to remove the pins, which you might want to do to repair it or something, you just take these 2 screws out. And the whole pin bank comes out like this. Now you can remove your pins, replace them. I'll just hook it around here and bring it up to the camera. You can remove the pins, replace them. You can also, with a magnifying glass, view down these holes to check your alignment and make sure everything's probing the right location if you're having problems with missing test points or anything like that. So I'll put this back together, and I'll show you why this can probe accurately from the top. There's basically 2 guide pins in there that you align it all to before you tighten this top plate down. Now, one thing to be aware of when you put this together, you want to watch, these wires have a tendency to kind of want to go underneath here, so you make sure you're not crimping any wires as you put these screws in and tighten things down. And I always put it loose at first, and then once it's all self-aligned, tighten it down. There's a guide pin here, and the bodies of the receptacles here act as a guide for these holes, so it all guides itself right into the proper location. Now, the guide pin for the press plate that I was talking about are these 2 big things here. They go right up into these holes and guide it right in place. So when you first adjust the alignment, which are these screws right here, I'll do it. You just loosen these screws. Okay. Now, as you can see, this can now be adjusted any way you want it, very easily. And all you got to do to align everything is close it so that it's on these pins and tighten these screws down. However, what I like to do, just to be certain of things, you don't really need to on these small fixtures, but larger fixtures, we like to put the board in and press the board down a little bit so it doesn't actually probe it at first. Then tighten it down. That allows the back pressure of the board, but this is so insignificant it doesn't matter. But on the larger fixtures there's more back pressure. It allows everything to self-align with all the back pressure and everything. And I can check and see that everything did align right, and it did. Okay, so I'll tighten it all down now, and it will be self-aligned. And I like to tighten it down loosely at first and then go through and tighten it all the way at the end. Now, there we go. All ready to go. Now, another thing I want to show you is how easy it is to remove press plates and swap them if you want to. You just pull out the quick release pin, open it, and press plates out. You can inspect it, change it over with another press plate for different circuit board configurations if you happen to have that. And there you go. To put that back together again, you just put the pin back in. And that's that. Now let me put the plates back on. Whoop. First I want to connect the cable up before I put the guard plate up. The cable protector guard plate. So we'll snap that cable in. It's all designed to go together easily by hand with some thumb screws so that everything can be accessed very easily for repair, updates. A lot of times updates are more important than repair. You may want to route the wires to some other area or add a new test pin. There are spare pinholes in this where new test pins can be added. This is all the top side. Now we'll go over the bottom side as soon as I put this last screw in. How to access and update the bottom side. Okay, so all these wires then go from the test pins to this connector, out through the cable, into this connector, and then back out this connector. Just so you know how they come around and get through to whatever you need to connect to the test fixture. That's the way we do it. Now the bottom panel comes off with just 2 screws, so it's really easy to update. In here are the test pins for the bottom side of the board, and they're just wired out to this bottom connector only. And this top connector is basically just wired to the bottom connector because it contains the pins from the top side. So that's the way this is done, and it's real easy to access these pins. They're right here. Most are wire wrapped except for the 50 mil, which are soldered. There's just not enough room around 50 mil to wrap wire. And that's the way these fixtures go together and come apart. Now I'll put this bottom panel back on, and I'll show you how easy it is to put the top RFshield back on. So the bottom panel just goes in 2 screws, tighten it all down good and snug. There we go. Top panel basically goes on like this, but the way we'll do it is set it back in the exact same way we took it out, which is just like this. Now it's in there. Now I just put all 4 screws in there. And keep them all loose at first. Sometimes I back it up a little bit just to find the threads and then go forward. It's a good technique to keep from cross-threading. Just back it up a little till it clicks in and then go forward. And the last screw. Now I tighten everything down snug. And we're done. Fixture taken apart, put back together. Let me put the circuit board in. And all set. Now, I wanted to show you the removable press plate with, so we loosen this up, and we can pull the pin out now. Right here. Show you from the side. I had to turn a little, it was down in there, but this just comes right out like that. Hold this while I pull it all the way out, and then this will come out and can disconnect this from here this time. So we have the plates separable even with the shield on there, which is kind of handy if you need to change press plates for different features and applications and tests you might run. Okay, I'll plug this back in, and that's will be the end of the demonstration. It's all back together again. The shielded prober, the smallest prober we have, which is 6 inches by 8 inches. And very high, probably about 6 inches high. For this one, most of the time they're only about this high for the shield. When it's only a one-sided prober, it's only about this high. Okay.